Hello and welcome back to my channel, or to my channel. Today I will be talking a little bit about the elderly and hydration and why we're losing this battle. Caregivers will have heard this a lot, as well as family members. Make sure they drink. Make sure they eat. Those are the twin commands we caregivers hear every day from professionals. But for older adults, hydration and nutrition aren't separate tasks. They're competing demands, and the body doesn't always have room for both. It's not neglect, it's physics. It's the shrinking stomach, the fading thirst, the fear of accidents, and the quiet refusal of one more sip. The body, it's saying, I can't do both. Choose. Their bodies are not ours, not the same as you and me at our current age. Less muscle means less water storage and less physical activity to stimulate circulation or thirst. Once muscle mass is lost, it's nearly impossible to regain. Weight may return, but not muscle or strength. Kidneys do not conserve water well. Thirst signals fade with age. The need of hydration, knowing you're thirsty, the signal from the brain fades with age. The loss is constant. Diuretics and medical conditions increase urination. Diarrhea flushes out liquids and electrolytes fast. Even small losses add up when absorption is poor. The intake is limited. Stomach capacity may be shrunken or reduced, and gas, bloating, or constipation shrink it further. Medical side effects often promote these issues, compounding the problem. You got nausea and discomfort, reduced drinking, fear of accidents overnight, or bathroom trips lead to fluid avoidance. Lifetime habits may not include regular water intake, certainly not the volume or type we're now told to push on them daily. I've had nurses and doctors tell me 2 liters of water a day. I don't drink 2 liters of water a day. I don't think I could stomach it. I probably could drink 2 liters of coffee. It's a blind alley. Professionals urge 2 liters a day, but most of us don't drink that ourselves. Older adults aren't just scaled down versions of younger bodies. Their metabolism, absorption, and regulation are fundamentally different. Caregivers are told to push fluids without tools to track loss or absorption. The real world solution and its limits, you can pair hydration with calories. You can optimize every sip. In most cases, this is the only viable path forward because the body no longer has the margin to separate hydration from nutrition. But even this solution isn't guaranteed. It still depends on the person, their metabolism, their comfort, and their willingness to accept. The body absorbs what it can. The person accepts what they trust, and no amount of nutritional math overrides that. Now, the calorie war is make sure they eat. Often means calorie-dense meals to fight weight loss, but more food means less room for fluids, and vice versa. Muscle mass declines even when weight is stable. The real world compromise. Everything they drink must have calories. Everything they eat must have hydration value. And no, they don't want soup every day, and neither do we. The bottom line is we're not just losing hydration, we're losing strength, routine, and the body's ability to signal its own needs. We're not losing because we're careless. We're losing because the system ignores how aging bodies actually work. Hydration and nutrition support means adapting, observing, and honoring what's possible, not forcing what isn't. And even if we do everything right, we will not always succeed. We can win most battles, but we, in the end, will lose the war. That is the hard truth of it. We will lose the war. And I'm not just talking about elderly people with dementia. I'm talking about elderly people, older people, even people like me. We don't drink enough water and eat enough nutritional things to keep our muscle mass going. And we don't exercise like we used to. Isn't it something that we have to go to a gym, a fitness center, to do what used to come naturally to us in this world? We'd walk everywhere, or most places. We ate at home. We ate when the food was there. We didn't raid the refrigerator. We didn't eat in front of a television, boredom eating. We didn't do any of that. We got up, moved around. We didn't have fried food, fast food very often. I mean, that might have been a special treat, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But when we're dealing with the elderly and dealing with dementia, we have to balance hydration and nutrition at the exact same time. And they're competing forces, taking up the very small space and absorption that the body has. If they have diarrhea, that's going to pull out all the moisture, all the hydration out of their system, flush it. And the electrolytes, which help the body maintain hydration. And you can get to the point where you'll see an elderly person with constant UTIs, urinary tract infections. They're not getting enough hydration to flush out. The kidneys are not working the way they used to. We're trying to push all the water on them, and they're drinking the water or the fluids, but then they're not hungry to eat. And if they're not hungry to eat, the body doesn't have what it needs to process the hydration. And when they eat too much and not drink enough, it's the same thing. Not enough to flush it out. Then they get constipation, and you get them on stool softeners and diuretics and other things. And that robs the body of even more electrolytes and more hydration. And that can lead to rapid decline, sudden decline. I mean, a UTI, so you could be hydrating somebody enough, you think. And one day they'll just start being slightly delusional or weak, can't stand up from the chair, can't do things they normally can do. They begin to act odd, maybe. And that could be a UTI. It could also be dehydration and a UTI. And some people have constant UTIs, especially older, elderly, with adult underwear and catheters. But hydration is king. You gotta have it. But nutrition is king too. If you're not combining both, getting enough protein in the body protein's the powerhouse. It's the thing that gets the body doing all what it needs to do. But the body still needs to absorb in the hydration. And it's not doing it like it used to. And like I said, kidneys don't process well. Not for what they need to have. And 2 liters of water, they're never going to do that. I'm not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Anything you're going to be trying with if you're a caregiver or a family member in charge of helping your loved one navigate this, try it on yourself. And if you can't do it, don't expect they can do it. And if you can just do it, they can't even do half of that. Their bodies are not older versions of a younger body. It's just not the way it works. They need muscle to absorb water into, to hold water. And you'll see them maintaining their weight, but that's all they're doing is they're gaining fat, which is good for them at this stage, but they're also losing muscle mass if they're not active. And then they will become less hydratable. So always remember, the only thing you can do as a caregiver and as for yourself is maximize everything. If you're losing weight, you're losing muscle mass, start being active, but also make sure that all of your fluids have calorie behind it. No 0-calorie colas. No diet this and that. Don't do that to yourself. You don't need to do that unless you're drinking 20 Cokes a day. But you need to get calories out of what you're drinking. And you need to get hydration out of what you're eating. And when you get those together, you can maintain. And if you don't, you're going to lack one or the other. And when you lack nutrition, you begin to lack the ability for hydration, and it all drops down, and it goes down and down and down until you're a weak shell of who you used to be. So remember that. Always pair hydration with nutrition at the same time. And remember, finite amount of space on its side. Their stomachs are smaller. They're going to have other issues which complicate. Constipation can cause them to stop wanting intake. There's so many things we have to take into consideration. But if you follow the golden rule, as I call it, of hydration and nutrition combined, and not soup every day, like I said, we don't want soup every day, and we don't try to force it on them either. Give them what they want, but you can do it in ways that balance both. Anyway, thanks for visiting my channel, and I'll see you again at another time.